In this session, I want to help you to basically help people with the main focus on helping people for a really cheap price that everyone can afford, in terms of you selling this to other people, without really having to sell anything and make a whole bunch of money. Okay, and you think, well, James, how can I make a whole bunch of money if I'm not really charging that much? Well, this is what it is. Now, we did a little experiment a while ago, and this was probably about a month and a half ago or so, roughly. We did this, and some of you may have seen this. Some of you may have even purchased this, right? But it was our workshop, which we sold for $7, no upsells, nothing like that, no forced continuity membership programs or anything like that. And we sold it for $7. Okay, it was a very brief workshop, relatively speaking, compared to most of my other products. Roughly 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours of content, right? And in that workshop, I basically sat down with this same scenario, and I was like, hey guys, welcome to the workshop. I'm going to help you to find your perfect niche. And that was the only focus of the workshop, to help you find your perfect niche. And that was it. Nothing to do with like how to, what to do after you found your niche to make the money. It was specifically designed to focus on one of the biggest pain points and the biggest stumbling blocks that people have to moving forward towards their end goal, to reach their goals, right? And we know that because we speak with our customers and our clients, and they tell us that they have issues knowing what to move forward with, how to get started, what niche to go into. So we covered all of that in a workshop. Now, of course, it wasn't just about how to find the niche, but we also incorporated some other things as well, like how to stand out in that niche, basically position yourself to get ready to sell in that niche, right? So at the end of the workshop, we promoted our application process for our Inner Circle program, okay? So it was kind of like, for $7, we can get you to choose your niche, to nail that last nail in the coffin for good, and finally you'll be able to get started with your online business. $7, that's it, no upsells, nothing else, right? That was the sole premise of the workshop. And then at the very end of the workshop, it was like, hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you want us to help you to make money in the niche that you've just chosen, i.e. that's the very nice sort of pivot into a pitch, right? And it wasn't even a hard pitch. We talked probably about 15 minutes maximum, and it was more to do around kind of, if you want us to help you to make money in that niche, then go ahead and apply for this program. We can tell you the full details about it, see if you are eligible for it, see if you qualify for it, and if you don't, great, we can still help you to solidify that niche choice in your head. If not, then hopefully you enjoyed the workshop, right? And it was actionable stuff for like 1.5 hours of content. So if you were the type of person who enjoys teaching people, who enjoys the teaching more than sales, you're very good at what you do, and you think, wow, like, I just want to help people get results as quickly as possible, and you enjoy that more than the selling part, and you don't particularly have much authority status in terms of like, you're not, your day job isn't of the same profession that you're trying to help people with. For example, like you just think, well, I'm interested in law of attraction, for example, right? And you don't do law of attraction for your day job. So you don't really have many credentials, any qualifications around the area. You lack results of yourself and your clients and stuff like that. This is a great way to get your foot in the door, because you're helping people by actually helping them, and demonstrating your worth by actually helping them with the value that you give on the workshop. And then by the end of it, they know for sure that you are a good expert in this area because you've just helped them for 1.5 hours, right? So there's no disputing whether you're good or not by the end of it. So it's a great way to overcome a lack of results, testimonials, case studies, proof of any kind of description, basically. Whenever you're kind of entering a brand new market with nothing, to have yourself stand out from everyone else and any kind of reason why people should listen to you, this is a great way of doing it. Now, there are some caveats to this, okay? The first caveat is, before I share my results, of course, I want to make you aware that the way this method works is, because of the front-end offer being at $7 with no upsells whatsoever, the whole point of this is not to make a profit on the front end. So it's kind of risky if you don't have a big float of money and you are kind of like putting all of your eggs into this one basket, like this needs to work, otherwise I'm screwed. If that's you, then this is not for you, all right? It's also not for you if you don't understand the process of acquiring people at a very low price and upgrading them into a higher value, higher priced service or program of some description. So if you don't have a coaching program, consulting program or service, or agency service of any kind, anything like that, where you're charging a high price and delivering massive value, or you have zero intention of ever doing that, then this is probably not for you either, right? Now, personally, I love coaching. This is why I want to place even more focus on this coaching program with our stuff, because I love doing it. As you can probably tell, every week I'm here with a super energetic enthusiasm and like a massive smile on my face. I love helping you guys and girls, right? And that's something I want to do. So that's why I'm comfortable acquiring people at a loss, because I know we can eventually upgrade them into our coaching program and other programs as well. I'm going to show you the stats, the exact figures of what happened when we did this in just a second, right? But I wanted to give you those things up front, just so you know that this is not like a magic bullet where you're going to be acquiring customers and instantly they're going to be upgrading into a $3,000, $5,000, $20,000 program or service. It's something that may take a few weeks after you acquire the customer for them to upgrade into your higher price programs or services, okay? And that's of course assuming you have them in the first place, but this method is not going to work for you in terms of making a net profit if you don't have anything to upgrade them to. Now, of course, this does not mean this is irrelevant to you, because this is something you can learn for the future when you do have those things in place. It doesn't mean that, oh, I need to stop listening to this or whatever else, right? It's always good to learn this stuff, because when you are at that stage in the future, you can just implement it right away. You'll fully understand it by then. It will give your brain some time to think it over, right? So here are our stats. Let me bring this up. So I did this just before this call, so we had the most up-to-date stats. I could go in and show you, like, this is the number of customers, this is the everything else, but it would reveal all of our client information, like their email addresses and stuff like that. And I'm not one for leaking all of our client info. I'm sure you'll agree that's a good thing, right? So I can show you the pages that we use to sell this stuff and how this works specifically and how we did things after I've told you the results, just so you know it's worth doing, right, if you're in this position. And also, what else as well? Yeah, I can show you the Facebook ads as well if you want them, just let me know. I can show you proof of the amount spent and stuff like that if you really want those figures, but I'm trying to give you the concise version, because I know some people are just okay to just have the figures, and some people are super skeptical of, like, I need to see tax returns and I need to have an independent audit of your figures. Hopefully you guys and girls aren't like that, otherwise we wouldn't have let you in this program in the first place. But if you do want to see these intricate figures of like how these figures were made and stuff like that, please let us know. We're all about that transparency. So we spent $1,312.52 so far on Facebook ads. This is an ongoing campaign, so it's not like we've spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're just testing the waters, and even now it's working really well. So that's that. And from that, we made 84 niche GPS workshop customers. So we basically acquired 84 customers of this workshop. Now, big caveat to this, right? Not all of these were from Facebook ads. Some of these were from our list, because we have an audience, and it would be stupid for us to not use that audience to get people into this new product, right? So don't take this as though I've spent this much money and got 84 customers from this, because that would be a very, very, very insanely high conversion rate, right? So some of this is from Facebook ads. The rest is from our list, all right? And that's just one of the other reasons why I keep driving home the point of building your audience as you're acquiring a profit, right? It's not about building the audience first and then somehow, some way you'll make a profit. You build the audience at the same time as making a profit. And that way, when you're making a profit, you keep doing it. You also keep building your audience. And it's this amazing upward spiral, if that makes sense, like an upward trend of you're growing your profit at the same time as your audience, and then it just becomes so much easier to scale because you already have an audience to send every new offer to, and it leverages your existing assets in a great way. All right, it accelerates your progress upwards, right? So 84 new customers, and all in all, $7 each, $588. Woohoo! woohoo! So I've spent 1,000, over 1,000, 1,312, and made back 588. James, that sucks, right? But once again, you will not break even on a $7 product. I've told this like millions of times, and our conversion rate for this was insane, like a very, very high conversion rate for this sales page and also the order form, the order process, which I'll show you in a second. So even with a high conversion rate, we still did not break even on what we'd spent on ads. So that was even with our list as well. Like, obviously not all of these were from ads. So by the way, if you're interested, around 22 of these customers were from Facebook ads. The rest were from our list. Once again, driving home that point that the list is awesome. When you build that audience over time, it allows you to just click send and make money, right? Or acquire customers in this case. So from those 84 people who joined the workshop, they had a great time, they got a lot of value from it, we gained 6 new Inner Circle clients. And the majority of those paid up front, so that's $12,000. $12,000. So we spent $1,312 and we made $12,000 back, right? Plus 588, which adds up to, oh, we've got another surprise as well. So far that's $12,588 in sales, right, in revenue. So we're already in the profit. But we also had one Ultimate Done For You service client who kind of begged us to come in and say, James, I really need this to work. And although the service is closed, when people do beg us to get into it, we're not the type of person to turn people away. Even though we're not advertising this, between you and I, it's kind of like if you were to beg us to come in, you'd probably get in, right? If you're a good fit for the program. So we had one Ultimate Done For You service client at $20K. So total amount earned was $32,588 in revenue. Okay, so ultimately the net profit, the spent was $1,312 on ads, which is up here, and down there that gives us a $31,275.48 net profit after all the expenses. Of course, there were no expenses for holding the workshop. It was done from this room, my house in San Diego. I didn't have to get some big theater or conference room or anything like that to present this workshop. I didn't have to take like 2 days out of my schedule to do all this stuff in person, right? It was about 2 hours or so for the whole workshop, beginning to end, when I hit, let's go live, to the end of it when I was answering questions and stuff like that at the very end, probably about 2 hours or so. And we did 2 versions, two presentations of the same content on 2 different days. So it was kind of like, in total, it was 2 sessions. I think it was Monday and Wednesday. So it was like, if you can't make Monday's session, no worries. You can attend Wednesday's session at a different time, just so we can cover everything. So this was a live workshop to begin with. We didn't, have to sit down and perfect everything, like sit here like, oh, I screwed that up, let's do that part again. Taking 6 hours to record a workshop, which is only 2 hours of content. I'm sure you've been there before, right? It's not just about recording the content, it's all the screw-ups as well, and then editing the whole thing down. But with this, it was like I did the whole thing live. I hit record, and then I had the end recording, and that was it. And I chopped up the recording into little sections just to make it more manageable for people buying this after the live event, which we'll talk about in a second. And that enabled people to consume it without being overwhelmed. And that was pretty much all the editing I did, because it was a live event, right? So everything was kind of take it or leave it. If you screw up live, you screw up live. It makes you more personable, right? So looking at these figures here, we had, let's say 6 out of 84. What is that? So where's my calculator? Over here. So we have 6 divided by 84 times 100 to give a percentage. And that's a 7.14% conversion rate. So a 7% conversion rate on people who paid for the workshop, not necessarily attended it or watched it, because as you know, not everybody who purchases a product or service will actually use it or consume it or look at it even. It'll just gather digital dust. So I don't know how many people actually turned up live. It was definitely not 84. I'd probably say about 2/3 consumed it in some way, shape or form, whether it's watching the recording or something like that. A third probably did nothing with it. It's only $7. They're like, yeah, it's not a big loss if I don't do nothing with it, right? So roughly 2/3 of 84. I'm not going to do the math on that, but yeah, it's a really, really good conversion rate, even if everyone attended live, right? Even if everyone actually consumed the content, 7% is still very good to upgrade people from a $7 offer into a $2,000 offer, right? And that's not including the other client as well at $20,000, which is very good, which is just above a 1% conversion rate, which is not terrible. It's not great either, but that wasn't the main focus. We didn't even mention that service in this offer, in this workshop. We didn't mention it at all. Like, I occasionally kind of passed the passing comment like, oh, one of our clients did this and this and this, but we never mentioned that service. All the focus was on the inner circle because we wanted to upgrade people into that program. So the lesson here is that you don't always need to be making a profit on the front end for it to be hugely profitable on the back end, right? So we drive this point home so often inside the inner circle modules in terms of creating a product and so on and so on. And I just wanted to drive it home again now, like it's super, super important. So we spent $1,312 and made back $32,000, which is awesome. That's like a 30 times ROI, roughly near close to a 30 times ROI. So if that doesn't give you a little bit of a shiver, then I don't know what will, right? And that's crazy. So what we're doing right now is we're obviously scaling this up. So we're in the process of testing different ads, and we've got lots of different video ads that we're testing and so on. And what we did was, initially for these Facebook ads, we only started using the Facebook ads after the event had happened live, and we were selling the recordings. Okay, so it's not like we had the scarcity of, oh, this event is gonna happen tomorrow or anything like that. It's an evergreen campaign now. We've structured it so we don't need to be presenting this stuff every week. They're basically buying the recordings, so there's no effort on my part whatsoever. I just see the sales come in, and I think, great, they might convert into an inner circle client, right? So that's awesome, right? Now I'm going to show you the ads. I'm going to show you the ads, actually, the Facebook ads. I'm going to show you the pages, the sales page, what we use, the order form and stuff like that as well. So I'm going to take you chronologically, actually. Like, this is how we started it to acquire the people from our list, and this is how we started doing it with cold traffic as well. Is this good so far, by the way? Let me know in the chat box if you like this kind of stuff. I'm trying to be as open and transparent as possible, just so you guys and girls can learn as much as possible as well, because I love this stuff. I love all the figures and the marketing stuff. So Donald says yes, perfect, awesome, great to hear it. So let's start with, if I get my face out of the way, there we go. So this is the order form in ClickFunnels, okay? And once again, we use ClickFunnels for everything. It just makes everything super easy to create. Let's see, so I'm going to put a face there. So we have a very basic order form, okay? Here's what we're going to be doing inside our brand new virtual workshop, your Perfect Niche GPS. By the end of this workshop, you'll have found and chosen a niche for your online business, yada, yada, yada. So if you want to model this for yourself at any point in the future, you can say something like, by the end of this workshop, you'll have blank, whatever the end goal is of the workshop. It could be focusing on any one small aspect of their journey. So if you think, like, what is your prospect's biggest stumbling block? And it should be specific enough that you can cover it and not cover anything else, and it still be valuable to them, but equally not too broad that it's going to take you more than 2 hours. So, for example, if I would have made this workshop, how to find your perfect niche and make your first $1,000 online, no way I could cover that in 2 hours. So you think, let's go smaller, let's go more specific. So instead of how to find your niche and make a profit in it, just how to find your niche, very specific. And you might think, well, James, that's not going to lead to a profit in my case. And that's it. But for most people it is, because then they take the next step. And our next step is the Inner Circle program, if they want to, or they can figure it out for themselves. In your niche, it could be, weight loss is a random example off the top of my head. One of the big problems could be their hormone levels are all over the place, and they need to get things realigned so their metabolism is on track to help them to lose weight, instead of it being all over the place, right? So that workshop could be focusing on the hormones. If you were a fertility coach, for example, it could be, just off the top of my head here, it could be eating a better diet for you to, for your hormones to be in the right place, for you to get pregnant, for example, right? Stuff like that. So it's something very specific and very niche, to the point at which it would be covered in less than 2 hours, including time for questions and everything else. And a pitch at the end as well, roughly lasting 15 minutes. So you want to have about an hour and a half of content. And by content, not all of that is like do this, then do that, because you have the introduction as well, roughly 15 minutes. So probably an hour and 15 minutes or so of actual content, anywhere between an hour and 15 minutes would be perfect. So kind of shoot for about an hour, because sometimes you think it's going to take an hour and then it runs over. So try and shoot for 1 hour of content. Charge $7 for it. Before you know it, it will turn into a 2-hour thing with questions and everything else. And then you have a great workshop that you can sell like this, right? Anyway, so we literally had 6 sections to the workshop. It was, here's how to do this. Basically think of your prospect's end goal. Like, what are the steps they need to take to find whatever it is that you're promising in this workshop? In our case, we had them do 5 things. So we had 6 sections. One of them was a Q&A at the end. So it was like, deliver the content. And then at the very end, it was, do you have any questions? And we literally just sat there answering questions live on air. And we say, and much more. Always say that, because of course there's other stuff that isn't covered here as well. You'll get lifetime access to the recordings. Very important, because not everyone is going to be able to attend live. So make sure that you do let them know that there are recordings of the session as well, plus other surprise bonuses inside the members area. So we included a bunch of stuff like resources and tools and stuff like that, right? And also, if you are wanting to promote other people's products as an affiliate, you can of course include affiliate links in the resources section as well, and earn a bit of income that way as well. We do that occasionally with ClickFunnels. We earn affiliate commissions on ClickFunnels recommendations and email list stuff and little things like that, but it all adds up. Of course, all it takes is a few people to do that, and it makes it worth having the link there. You're not losing anything by having it there, right? So then we have some testimonials and case studies of what other people have done with that other stuff. Obviously, with it being a brand new workshop, these testimonials aren't related to the workshop. They're just, using our methods in general. And if you're starting out, you could replace this section, and you don't have any testimonials, you can replace this section with something like some of the data or information about the workshop. Originally, we had the time and date of both of the workshops. So it was like... a bunch of stuff just fell off my desk. It's crazy. We have a poltergeist here. Wow. Anyway, originally we had lost my train of thought now. We had a bunch of like time, date. This is what you'll need to attend. You can attend on any device, stuff like that. Just housekeeping stuff, and that was it. So as you can see, $7 here. No monthly ongoing subscriptions. This gives you access to the recordings for live, no upsells, that kind of stuff. We actually say, click the button below now to complete your purchase and instantly access the paid workshop. Of course, now they can do that because it's the recordings, but if you are selling the live tickets, then you would say, to secure your spot in the upcoming workshop. And we were very particular with that. We said the upcoming workshop so often, like, everywhere we said workshop, we said upcoming workshop, just so people didn't think that they would purchase it and then get access to it right away. So they knew they were purchasing a ticket for a future event, okay? And that was very important. We had barely anybody say, hey, I purchased, but I haven't been able to access the workshop. And I'm like, dude, it's an upcoming workshop. It hasn't happened yet, right? So I think we had one person out of the 84 who said that. So that's pretty good. So yeah, be sure to say upcoming workshop. With no upsells after this point. So we let them know there's no upsells. And I think that was part of the reason why this works so well, because a lot of people have this association that if you pay $7 for something, or like a free plus shipping and handling type offer, I'm sure you've seen them with books and stuff like that, right? They kind of expect upsells. They expect to be hammered over the head with about 5 or 20 different hard selling upsells, where it's like, you need to have this for the original thing to work, and people hate that. So I think it's refreshing for them to have that little bit of text here and on the sales page and in the ad, which we'll get to in a second, basically saying no upsells, right? So that was it. And the funny thing is, we didn't even have a sales page for this offer until we started selling the recordings. Actually, no, sorry, I was wrong. 2 days before the live workshop, because our copywriter delayed everything and it was like super late on delivering us the sales page. So we only had like 2 or 3 days of actually using the sales page. I believe from memory, it was a while ago and a lot's happened since then, but we didn't have much time at all, basically, of using the sales page, and the majority of our sales came from the order form, which was literally, we were sending people straight from our list to the order form and letting the emails do the selling. And because it's only $7, it was converting crazy, like 30%, like a 30% conversion rate of people who clicked on the link in our emails to visit the order form, went ahead and completed their purchase, which is awesome. It, number one, shows that, you know, when you have an audience and you build that loyalty and that brand, people will do whatever you tell them to, assuming it's something that they want, right? Assuming that they need the thing and they want it. But also the fact that you don't need to make things complicated a lot of the time. The shortest route to the end goal is often the easiest, right? The easiest for the customer, the easiest for you. So this order form took us probably about 30 minutes or so to create. We just copied what we already have. If you're starting from scratch, probably about an hour maximum. And that was our sales page, right? This order form. And I guess the majority of the recap was in the sidebar. Like, this is what you're going to get in the workshop and everything else. And that was it. That was what we sent people to. So nothing complicated, no elaborate sales process. Literally, here's the order form. If you want in, go ahead and grab it. That's it. Pretty magical. So I'm going to scroll down slowly if you want to, if you want to watch this in the recording and take notes of what I'm saying. Obviously, don't copy it word for word, but model it for yourself. So there's that. Again, if you want to replace the testimonials with something else, then that's totally fine. We have a secure payment thing at the bottom as well, just basically saying that your credit card information is never stored or shared in any kind of way. And then we have the legal stuff at the bottom, like disclaimers, privacy policy, that kind of stuff, right? So that's it. That's the first page we used for the majority of our promotions with our list, getting people into this workshop, right? So then when we finally had the sales, but let me see if I can show you those stats actually. Let's do before last week. So I think it was like, I'm just going to do from 1st of March until end of April. Actually, it's probably mid-April. Let's do the 15th, right? And I'll show you how high that order form converts. Something that simple converts really, really well. 40%. 40% of people who visit the order form actually completed their order. Now, the average is about 20, so this is double the average. So pretty crazy. Especially as we're driving people straight from the list over to the order form. Anyway. Let's see. So how many people was that, by the way? That was 61 opt-ins. How many sales? 56 sales. So yeah, it's not as if it's like 3 people and we're making decisions off 3 people. It's like a lot, right? 56 sales. So to be converting at, 36 to be correct, 36% of people. Still very high, right? Then we tested having the sales page to pick up the late responders, people who need more information, even though it's only $7. Some people are fresh on our list. They don't really know us that well. So we had this type of sales page, like so. I'm going to move myself down there again. There we go. So new virtual workshop, perfect niche GPS. This is what the goal of the workshop was. So wheel, blah, blah, blah. That's the headline. No complicated sales copy like, have you ever wanted to blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's very kind of hypey in most sales letters. But this one was just, this is what we're going to do together. And that was it. So no complicated copy. I think that's why it works really well as well. And a buy button right here, because don't forget these people were already on our list. And actually this is the same buy button we're using for cold traffic as well, which is working pretty well. So that's that. And then we have the basic kind of sales copy like, so you've decided to start a business. So in your case, it will be, so you've decided wanted to lose weight, whatever your goal is for, your average prospect, right? But so far, all you felt is their pain points. So it's like, in our case, overwhelm, confusion about how to get started, that kind of stuff, right? So cover the pain points. and then we're just literally driving home the pain points. We're relating to what they're going through, like struggling to come up with ideas for a niche that isn't saturated, choosing between those ideas, blah blah blah, and then saying basically it's not their fault because, and then giving a reason. So it's not your fault because, in our case, we wrote there were literally thousands of different niche choices and you only need to choose one that's best for you, which can be overwhelming and uncertain and blah, blah, blah. So just basically driving home those negative points. And then we pivot into the positive. So here's a crazy question for you. What if you didn't have to fake it until you make it? And by the way, that is a quote from a lot of our customers and clients. They say they don't want to fake it until they make it. So we actually use their language in our sales copy a lot, just because it helps us to really connect with what they're thinking, because they told us that's their problem, right? And actually enjoyed the niche you were in. Specifically, things are more different in 2021 than they ever have been. So this is kind of like the conversation they're having in their head about why things aren't working for them. This is really important. So at this point, you want to talk about like, the world is a very different place now. If you were in the weight loss industry, you would say something like, mentally you might not be prepared to go to the gym, and you might be a totally different person to where you were before the pandemic, or the gym's been closed for so long that you've probably forgotten what it feels like, and so on, right? So you're addressing the conversation at the back of their head, and then you say, well, you're never gonna achieve your goal unless you do this one big thing. And that one big thing is the topic of the workshop, which they're struggling with, and they can't achieve their goal unless they have achieved this thing, this one tiny thing, right? In our case, it was finding the niche. In your case, it could be whatever, right? But you're never going to be able to achieve your end goal, the big goal, unless you do this very small thing first. Introducing the workshop. That's when we say, introducing your perfect niche GPS. The name's terrible. I still don't think it rolls off the tongue, but I didn't want to wait around. I didn't want to wait for 2 weeks trying to think of a good name. I just wanted to get it out there. So even if you have a terrible name, this can still work, right? And we've kind of just left it as it is, right? It's selling, so why change it? So by the end of this workshop, you will have blah, blah, blah. It's taken straight from the order form. We literally just copied and pasted it. We just copied and pasted it from the order form. So we'd already written this before. Here's everything that's included, section 1, section 2, straight from the order form. And then we added a little total value thing here as well. This is just arbitrary numbers, like we just thought off the top of our head, how valuable is this to somebody, if they were to have all of these niche ideas. 67, like there's no product out there which gives them a bunch of niche ideas for $67. It's just something that we thought is probably valuable when they have this information, right? So some of these things here, like audience intelligence, genuinely are worth 97. Some of them, niche domination, bigger picture, we're just kind of trying to put a fair amount on this and inflate it very slightly. If they were buying from somebody who's expensive, for example, just so we have a big number here, then we say you're not going to have to pay $492. Instead, it's $7, no upsells, no recurring billing. So if you are doing this, make sure you put that there. Obviously, don't put it there if you have upsells. You can add them, but I think it would detract away from the end goal of this workshop, and we specifically didn't put them in. Number one, because we didn't have time to make them, but number two, strategically, because we wanted to get as many people as possible into our Inner Circle program. And if people are buying these other programs, they're going to feel like they're already fixed and they already have enough to be getting on with. And we didn't want to put stuff on their plate if they would get to the end of the workshop and feel like, I already have enough now. We wanted them to still have a bit of an appetite. It's like you go 8 hours without eating during the day, you're starving, and this workshop is like a piece of bread, and you're still hungry after that, right? So then they're really hungry for the Inner Circle at the end. In your case, it would be your coaching, consulting, whatever program or service. So you're just kind of whetting their appetite a little bit and still keeping them hungry, if that makes sense. Another add to cart button, and by the way, all of these go straight over to the order form. All of these buttons go to the same place, to the order form. And then we just go into, here's what they're going to get. And this is taken from the slides. We went through the slides and said, okay, so in this slide, they're going to learn about this. This slide, they're going to learn about this. And we just kind of put that into curiosity-based statements. So for example here, the something method, the I something method, to reveal profitable niche ideas based on what sparks your interest. So in the slides, it was, here's how to find a niche that sparks your interest. We put a name to that for the sales page, and then it's very sort of blind, curiosity-based copy, right? The 3 most popular niches based on human needs and wants that will never be saturated. So we're not saying, you know, this niche, this niche, and this niche. They're going to turn up live to find that out. So it's kind of curiosity-based statements, all right? The one free website which shows how profitable your niche ideas are and so on. Hint, it's not ClickBank. I like to do this every now and again, like hint, it's not what you're thinking, or hint, it's not what is the obvious choice, right? And that way they think, oh, it's not that. Okay, so what is it? And then it creates that loop of curiosity, right? So same thing all the way down, and then there's another add to cart button. It's everything you need to whatever their end goal is. I love helping people find their perfect niche because it changed my life forever. So it's adding a bit of authority status here. So notice how we haven't started with, here's how awesome I am. That's how most sales pages start. Like, here's all of my results for my clients, what I've done with my life, here's why I'm qualified to teach you this stuff, why you should listen to me. That's all the way down the bottom, because you want to get the low-hanging fruit first. So think of this sales page like the very top of the sales page is for people who are ready to go right away, and the lower you get down on the sales page, the more skeptical people are going to be. So we talked about the bullet points of what's inside, and then if they still haven't clicked this damn add to cart button for $7, then it's like, what's next? What could they possibly be looking for? And you think, well, logically they might not know who I am. So that's when I talk about my, you know, my lifestyle, and I have, you know, my results from other clients and stuff like that. And then we just kind of recap what they're going to learn from the workshop, the main goals, and then some FAQs. Still have questions, here are some answers. Are there any upsells? Why are you doing this? Just average stuff that people ask us all the time, like, is it really just $7? What's the catch? That kind of stuff. Am I going to need anything additional? In one sentence, can you recap what I'm going to get out of this? Stuff like that, right? And then you have one last thing to do, click the button below, and then that's it. So, you know, just literally spelling it out to them. To get instant access, please click the big orange button below. When you do so, you'll be taken to a secure order page where you will enter your full name, email, billing info. From there, just click the green button. It's just kind of really future pacing how things are going to go for them when they click this button, just in case they think something's weird. And probably that's why the order form converts so well as well, because they already know what to expect on the next page. And then after that, your login information to access the workshop in our secure members area will be sent to the email provided. So it's just literally just doing some housekeeping stuff for the people who are worriers, like people who worry about this kind of stuff. It's for those. And then we have the add to cart button, and that's it. That's the end of the page, obviously with the legal stuff at the bottom as well. So it's not like a super complex sales page where you're going to need all of this complex NLP stuff and like anchoring to certain emotions. It's something that our copywriter did late, but when he actually sat down and did it, it was a few days. Like, it didn't take him that long, because it's just kind of mapping everything out. And I actually had a lot of input in this sales page as well. So you could probably say I wrote half of it. I don't like writing sales copy. I don't enjoy it. I feel like I'm not very good at it in terms of long sales form copy, but this one I was able to do myself, like alongside with him, and I was helping him with that. So yeah, that was the sales page, and we bought that one in probably a few days. I'd say worst case scenario, like from memory, probably about a week, but I've got a bad memory, and a lot's happened since then. We've done a lot of stuff in our company, so probably anywhere between a week and 3 days before the live workshop, we bought that sales page in, and we only had probably about 5 or 6 people purchase through the sales page. The majority of our orders came from the order form. So that was picking up the stragglers, basically, the people on the fence. We did the workshop live, we recorded the whole thing, we edited it down to different sections so it was more manageable. And then from there, it took us probably a week or so to get everything ready for the Facebook ads and the cold traffic. We actually did have a separate, where is it? There it is. We actually tested a different order form layout as well, and this one didn't work very well. So we just binned that one off pretty quick, and that was it. If you're wondering what they get after they pay, they get access to this page over here. So this is what it looks like. Really simple page. You can see it probably fits onto one screen more or less. Now this video is really cool. I saw this on somebody else's workshop, and this is what gave me the inspiration to do this. It's a bit trippy seeing me there and here. So I want to have some water actually. So as you can see, it was powered by Video Ask. So this is actually free. So you don't need to pay for this software, it's free. You record a short video on your phone, and you can literally be standing up like, you know, hi, blah, blah, blah. Or like you're on a Zoom call or a video call on your phone or FaceTime or something. But I chose to stand up and get a proper video with good lighting and everything else. It just helped to add to the brand. Notice the buttons are the same color as our brand as well, like a nice blue color. But anyway, I was basically saying, you know, let us know why you signed up for the workshop. Okay, so why did you sign up for the workshop? And that's what that was asking. It's probably about a 30-second video. It's like, just let me know, hey, you know, welcome aboard, thank you so much. There's some information on this page about how to access the workshop. But in the meantime, while you wait for the email, could you just let us know, just by hitting one of the buttons below, why you signed up. And this is incredible for testimonial generation. So we actually did this purely for the fact that we wanted some case studies and testimonials of people, you know, about our company. Because often when people join your stuff, they're like, I've had all these struggles before and I can't wait to blah, blah, blah. And you can use those as testimonials if they say certain things. And also it gives you great intel into what your prospects want, so you can help them. So video, audio, text, either way you can use those as testimonials, right? So it's kind of like, you know, your order's been processed, your seat's been reserved, we should actually change that to, you know, your login information's been sent, blah, blah, blah. That still says the upcoming workshop. So we need to change that. You can still screw this up and still get it done. Only just noticed that. If you don't get your confirmation email, please let us know. Here's a link to contact us. See you there. That's it. While you wait, please watch the video on this page, follow the steps, as it will help me to deliver more value to you on the workshop. So it's kind of like giving a reason why they should spend 2 minutes of their time to let us know. And that works really well in terms of getting a bunch of testimonials and proof and that kind of stuff, and helping us to understand how to better help our people so we can make more money and help them to the best of our ability as well. Win-win. So that's what people get when they sign up for it. But again, that's totally optional. You don't need to have that there if you're camera shy or whatever, but I would recommend it. It's a great way. Instead of offering an upsell, it's kind of like, tell us what you think, which is a great way of doing it. So Greg says, what were the results of Video Ask? So we had roughly, out of the 84, was it 84 people? Yeah, 84. So we had roughly, I can't show you, I wish I could go into Video Ask and show you, but it's got all their contact information, like their email address, phone number, that kind of stuff. But from memory, it was about 20 people, so roughly a quarter of them went ahead and submitted that. Probably around a quarter of those people did a video, and those videos were great. We actually used some of them in our emails. Like we just had this customer say they were fed up of going around in a cycle. So if you're feeling the same, click this button now and secure your seat in the workshop. So it's not as if we're saying like this customer got some incredible results, but we're saying like, can you relate to this video? And we sent them over to the video, this guy complaining like, I've been doing this stuff for so long and blah, blah, blah. So I joined this workshop to end that cycle. So it's kind of like what we wanted to say to our people, but having somebody else say it for us, which was great. I loved it. It was a perfect video, and we used that in our marketing. And we're probably going to use that as a follow-up as well in our Facebook ads. So like, do you empathize with this guy who's been struggling on that cycle for so long? Like, the cycle of doom, of procrastination, overwhelm, perfectionism, just never getting anything done or getting the right things done, and so on and so on, right? So yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I first saw it as well, Sharon, and I thought that's genius. I love that. I think it's more personal as well. Like, instead of just having a page with text, it's like an actual video. Like if I click play here, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it. Actually, you probably won't, because one, it's on mute. But number two, it's just me talking, and if I hit video here, for example, it's gonna ask for permissions for the microphone. If you're on your phone, just press accept and then you can record a video. Otherwise, you can go back and you can choose a text version instead. So yeah, it was really cool. I loved that video ask thing. It works really well. It's not really... I didn't have any hard data on whether it generated more sales when they visited the workshop, but I would assume that it made them feel more comfortable with you. Whenever somebody sends something to you, whether it's an email, a video would be incredible, an audio message, even a written message, anything where people send something to you, it creates some sort of bond in a way. Like it starts a relationship because you're expecting to hear back from them, and it opens up the lines of communication, which makes them more open to a sale or a purchase in their case. So I think that really helped as well. I don't have any hard data. We didn't split test it like with or without, because we wanted to do it anyway, regardless of the results. So, Sharon says, so after they purchased this $7, no upsells, they are now on your email list, correct? Yep, that's totally right, Sharon. Then do you send them emails with upsells? So this is how it works. I'll show you in just a second here. So that's basically everything before the workshop happens. Let me see. Okay, I can't show you all the... Yeah, if I open my desktop, I've got a bunch of sensitive stuff about the company on there. I'm working through a few forms and stuff. But with the PowerPoint slides, I'm thinking now, it's probably about 1 hour of content that I plan to do. And then at the very end, there was 2 slides, from memory, of course, 2 slides, and one of them was like, how would you like, sorry, three. One of them was an image of like 2 paths. One of them was the hard way, and there's like rocks and like a hole in the ground and cliffs and stuff like that. Dangerous, right? The hard way. And the other way was, let me bring me back in here. And the other way was the easy way. So it was like, if you want to take the hard way, now you've found your niche, you can try to make a profit online yourself. You can do all the things that you've been told to do and see how that goes for you. You can spend a bunch of money trying to figure that out. You can spend a lot of time, frustration, overwhelm, all the usual stuff that you would have if you're trying to do this stuff yourself. Or you can take the easy way and work with us. We'll actually coach you through the entire process from A to Z, and you'll have my help along the way. So if you would like to learn more about that opportunity, then just simply click the button. I think on the live session I did like go to this link, and it was like digitalprosperity.com/inner circle. Go there right now, and you'll be able to apply for the inner circle, and we can chat on the phone, see if it's good for you or not. And then we kind of left it at that. Like, if you want to learn more about it, that's it. Submit your application and learn more about it. Otherwise, let's get into some questions. And then we got into the Q&A. So it's a very, very simple, low pressure pitch. We didn't have any testimonials or case studies at that point like we usually would, because we don't need them. They trust us enough by that point at the end of the workshop to buy our stuff, because we've already demonstrated that we're good. We don't need to prove them even more. It'd be kind of, hammering a nail into the wood when it's already into the wood, right? It's pointless. You're only going to damage the wood. So it's a bit pointless to do that. So we just kind of left it that simple, and we got so many applications, and roughly 3/4 of them converted into clients, which is a very high close rate. Usually we convert about half. So 3/4 was incredible. So these people are incredibly pre-sold because they've sat through this workshop with you. They've sat through 2 hours of your content if they attended live. If they didn't attend live, they might skip a few sections or whatever else, but they've consumed at least 30 minutes of your stuff, right? Of you demonstrating your ability to help them and actually helping them at the same time. So that really helped to increase close rates as well. So I think that's one of the reasons why it works really well as well, because you're kind of setting the scene for coaching. It's like giving them an experience about how things are going to be when you're helping them, right? So awesome stuff. Greg says, of the 84 sales, 6 of which converted into the inner circle, how many people did you actually speak to? If it was 3/4, that'd be about 8 people, I believe. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, just checking my math. This vaccine's giving me weird vision now. I'm like, woo! But yeah. So out of the 6 people who converted into the inner circle, we spoke to about 8, probably 8 or 9 from memory. So not like a huge number of people, which is good. Our close rate's usually about half. So we usually could, out of 6 people, usually it would be 12. But in this case, it was like 8 or 9. So pretty good. Yeah, so good question there, Greg. Because obviously you don't want to generate a bunch of useless applications to speak to like 50 people and only 6 join. That would be really annoying. So working out from an hourly rate perspective, that would be very good. Very good. And obviously each call is 30 to 45 minutes. And most of these people we spoke to were like ready to go right away. Like they just wanted to know the details, where to sign on the dotted line, and that was it. Because they'd already been through that experience with us. So they were more pre-sold than usually what we would get. So yeah, Sharon, in terms of like attending the workshop, they obviously attend the workshop, they access the recordings and stuff like that. With the evergreen version, with the recordings rather than the live version, what they get now is they get an email on the day they purchase, basically saying, hey, welcome aboard, here are your login details, here's how to access everything. We send another email a few hours later, I think it's about 3 hours later, basically confirming that they got their login details. So we say, hey, in this day and age of spam filters being overly aggressive, just wanted to make sure that you got your login details because I know things can slip through the cracks. And click here to access your workshop. Here are your login details again, just to be sure. We'll see you inside. So we're getting them to engage with the content rather than just purchase it and just do nothing with it, right? The following day, which will be the day after they purchase, right? The following day, it would be another email going through a recap of what they're going to learn in the workshop. So we're reselling them on it. So we say something like, if you haven't already done so, we'd recommend that you, here's what you're going to learn in this workshop. And we just recap like stage 1, stage 2, blah, blah, blah. So this is what you're going to learn, blah, blah. A very small summary. Click here to go to your members area. Here are your login details again. Access it right now. Because ultimately, the way we're thinking of this is if they don't access the content they've paid for, number one, we're going to get a high refund rate because they're going to feel like, I didn't use it, right? Number two, they're not going to see how valuable our stuff is, and therefore they're going to be less likely to upgrade into our inner circle, or they're going to feel like I don't want it because I don't know anything about this guy or this company, so what's the point? So our main goal really was just to get them into the content to consume that. And then the following day, we started with the upgrade into our inner circle. So we did not upgrade them into anything else apart from the inner circle. So we didn't say like, here's a $27 offer, here's a $47.97, $497. We went straight from a $7 product into a $2,000 coaching program. And that kind of goes against everything that I've done in the past. Like we always try to upgrade them very nicely and seamlessly, like $7, maybe to $47, then maybe to $97, then maybe $247 or something like that, and then into a $2,000 program. But going from a $7 offer into a $2,000 works really well because it was a very nice pivot. It was like, now you fixed this big thing that's holding you back. Here's how to do the rest. And that's the kind of angle that we use for the majority of the whole thing. Like the whole marketing campaign was like, now you know how to overcome this thing. Here's how to do the rest. So we're not saying now you have done this thing because most people don't do anything with the content. But it's nice knowing for them. It's nice for them to know that they at least have the solution if they want to do something with it. And that's a very important marketing mindset thing to have, that you need to be aware that not everyone's going to do the steps required to get the end result, but it's nice for the prospect or the client or the customer to feel that they at least have what they need to do so, and at some point in the future. So therefore, some people might not have gone through the main content, or at least all of it, and they still upgraded to our coaching program because they felt like they had 2 pieces of the puzzle, right? So that's really important as well. So yeah, we had a few emails lasting a week or so. So it was every 2 days or so, nothing super pushy. Every 2 days or so, like, what was it? Something like, we're now accepting people into a circle, go here. The next email was like something really basic as well, like, When I first started online, I had overwhelm, confusion, all the usual stuff, all the pain. But then I found this proven system, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like it's difficult copy to write. You can write about pretty much anything you want, as long as it's connecting with your prospect and following usual copywriting rules to get them over to the application process for the inner circle. In our case, right? In your case, it would be your application process for your consulting, coaching, whatever it is, right? So it was a very seamless transition from, now you fixed this one thing, or at least know how to fix it, here's what to do to get the next results that you're looking for, right? So that worked out really well. Greg says, a 3-hour email after the sale is a good idea. Maybe 95% of all of my help desk inquiries are where they have not received their login details. Annoying. Yeah, super annoying. We still get those as well, by the way. Like, even though we have that follow-up email, we still get people say to us, I haven't received my login information. I'm like, ugh. We've sent it to you twice. Like, it's not our fault if you haven't checked your spam folder and the promotions folder, and if your email client is overly aggressive because you've hit spam on every single email, right? It's not our fault, but you can only do your best, right? So having a second email it kind of helped a little bit, but we still get those every now and again, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because once again, it opens up the lines of communication. It shows them that you are a real company, that you reply to them, and that you're actually there, available to help them. So in some ways, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I know marketers who deliberately don't send the login information so they can send it manually over email so they can start a conversation. They'll say something like, here's your login information. Sorry, that must have got blocked by your spam filters or something. While I have you here, what are you looking to achieve for this online business? And they say stuff like that. Like, while you're here, what are your goals for your weight loss? While you're here, blah, blah. And it opens up that communication for them to upgrade them into a coaching program or service. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's annoying from a perspective of it's taking time, but you think, where is that time being invested? It's being invested in loyalty, in brand loyalty, and that connection and relationship with a prospect or customer. So it's not necessarily a bad waste of time either. So yeah, try and look at it from a different perspective as well. We can definitely add it in if you want to. But yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So hopefully that helped. Wow, that's a long one. So 2 hours of hopefully valuable stuff. I wanted to really break this down and deconstruct it as much as possible. Facebook ads. Didn't show you the Facebook ads. So this is one of our Facebook ad accounts over here. You can see over here, this is a lifetime view. Lifetime, we started this ad campaign in April, I think, April 2021. So this was 22 website purchases over here. So as you can see here, 154 bucks made, and how much was spent? 1,312, which is a horrific ROI, horrific return on investment. But it's all about acquiring those people. Once again, a lot of these people converted into inner circle clients because they told us. They said, I saw your ads on Facebook, and even one sale from these 22 people was going to convert, was going to make this a profit, right? It was going to make this profitable. So let's see. So we're not doing leads. That one person just opted in randomly. Where have we got? So 1.64%. Let me see if I can show you the ad themselves. So we're currently testing different things here while testing a new approach, which hopefully I'll have a case study for you very shortly. We're trying to do like different avenues into our business in terms of the getting people into the inner circle. So yeah. Actually, let's dig into this. So ClickBank here, there's only one in that one. Where was it? Marie Folio. Yeah, there we go. So we tested a few different videos. We recorded 5, and not all five made it into the cut on Facebook, because in some of them I realized I said online business, and Facebook hates online business. They see it as MLM, get rich quick, so I couldn't use them. So basically it was just pointless. But the ones that I could use, I tested, and there are a few different options we used, and so on, and tested different things. Let me show you one of them. The ad copy was basically the written version of what I said in a video. So let me see. So this was the ad. So there's a few, yeah, so this was the script that we used for a lot of the videos. Again, not super long copy. The video does most of the selling, but this is what I said in the video, which you'll see in a sec. It's kind of a funny video, actually. I'm kind of sitting here like, there's a new problem sweeping the nation, and it's stopping entrepreneurs in their tracks. Symptoms include jumping from one niche to another, spinning your wheels, and saying everything is a scam. Yes, it's niche indecision. Fortunately, we have a cure. So we're playing on the whole news story pandemic thing in a kind of light-hearted way when it comes to niche indecision, and that's why the workshop is there to fix that, right? It's our brand new virtual workshop where we'll help you to blah blah blah. Get the full details here. For a limited time, we're doing a quick marketing test to practically give this away for just $7. So we're even giving them the price straight there in the ad, which is awesome. No upsells, no recurring payments. Hopefully you'll get a huge win and want to work with us again at some point in the future. That's totally optional. Our main goal is to help you as much as possible. And then the video basically says what I just said right there. 1 minute, the video, so nothing complex or super long and super difficult to do, right? So that's the Facebook ad that works the best for us. That's actually the one that's winning out of even the serious ones, where we're kind of doing like, let me move this back over. So we had a few different variations. Some of them are like super serious, like, are you struggling to find your perfect niche and you feel like you can't decide between fad versus fun? Like, do you want to do something that that you enjoy and you want to right now, or you're struggling to do something that you want to do in the long term, right? And stuff like that. So really serious kind of copy, and that didn't perform as well as the funny stuff. So test a bunch of different angles and see what works best for you. But that's what works well for us. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box, and also let me know if you want to see something specific. I'm always happy to help. But yeah, over an hour now. So let me know if you have any questions about that method. If you're thinking right now, James, which do I use? Do I use what you taught in the Inner Circle program of like helping people with a $27 product, a video course or something like that, versus this? Well, it depends. There's no easy answer to that, and it depends, right? It's like a jackhammer is a very powerful tool, but you wouldn't use it to put a nail into a piece of wood, right? To use that same example. It'd just break everything, right? There are different tools for the job, is what I'm saying. So you need to think about this carefully, but the way I would see it, if I was starting from scratch, is I would use this workshop only if you, number one, have a float of money that would not leave you, struggling if you lost a bunch of money on ads. Because let's face it, you don't have an existing audience, so you're going to need to use ads. So don't think of this like, I need these ads to work, otherwise I'm going to be poor for the next 3 months, right? If it doesn't work. So only invest money in this that you can afford to lose, because you might not see any sort of profit back from this until after you've done the workshop, and even sometimes a few months afterwards. We're still getting people who watched this workshop like a month ago get in touch with us now and say, hey James, I loved your workshop. I haven't been in the right position to join your coaching yet, but now I am. So let's move forward with it, right? So it's not always about the quick wins. Sometimes you need to wait a month or two for you to start seeing a return on that. So if you don't have the money to be able to do that kind of stuff, and you need to see results immediately, then what we teach in the Inner Circle is going to work better for you, right? Equally, if you don't have a coaching program or any kind of consulting service yet, then don't do this until you do, because it's pointless acquiring those customers, being in the hole for so long, when you've got nothing to upgrade them to. And by the time that you've got your coaching and consulting service or whatever it is that you decide you want to do ready and done and ready to sell, they might have forgotten about you. So you need to kind of get them while they're still hot, if that makes sense. Like, you're warming them up with this workshop, and over time that warmth starts to drop. The warm lead starts to drop in kind of engagement and the relationship they have with you. Even if you are sending them content every week on your blog and promoting other things, you can of course promote other different products and so on to your prospects. But I wouldn't, because it would make it difficult to get the ROI that you're looking for. Having these people are perfectly poised to purchase something very expensive from you with high amounts of value, and if you're selling them a $27 product, you need to sell a lot of them, a very high conversion rate, to start seeing a good ROI on that. And don't forget, the more things that people purchase, the more likely they are to feel fixed or overwhelmed, one way or the other. And neither of those types of people are able to I guess, make a good decision about joining something that's going to benefit them in the future. So I would try and stay away from bombarding them with too many different things and try and focus on selling the one thing you want them to get, which is going to, the best offer you have, basically. Like, acquire this for $7. You're going to love it. And then if they love it, here's the best thing we have. Like, all our cards on the table, right? So that's how I like to look at it as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can end this session.